What's up, crew? Welcome back to the shop. This week we're getting back on the Bronco, and I'm going to make a new battery box for it and do a little bit of work to the suspension. Get it ready for our next trip. Just got the Bronco back in the shop, getting ready to rebuild my coilovers. The shafts kind of got scratched up on a couple of them, so they leak pretty good. So I'm going to rebuild them, and I'm going to put the Bronco up on the lift and go over some things before we go out on our next trip. I've already started, and one of the things I've noticed is I've got this battery box that's been on here since I first built the Bronco, and just has this little piece of all thread that comes down and hooks down into the bottom of the box there. And I noticed it's kind of starting to wear into my battery, so I'm glad I going over stuff and caught that, because that could have been a bad day out on the trail. So I'm going to get this old box taken off. I'm going to fire up the plasma table and cut me out a new box. There it is. Go throw it in the swag bender and get it bent up and see if my measurements are right or if I just wasted a sheet of metal. I'm gonna get me some lines scribed on here for my bends, and we'll go over there, throw it in the bender and get it bent up. Basically just straight across, but the lines will help me get it set a little better in the bender. Need a bigger press brake. Let's try this. I need to add some bracing on here, but works pretty good for thinner metal. Haven't done this thing. Let's see. Maybe since it is a little thicker, I'm going to take my grinder and just make a little bit of a mark down each one of these. Shoot, that might be even better than the press brake. The press brake kind of rounded it a little bit. That one's way Way sharper, better 90-degree bend. Now I'll just figure out how to do these ones. On this one I did the same thing with the grinder. I just went in and scored me a line. And I got a piece of this old railroad track that I had sitting around. And just kind of put the metal on it and bent it into place. I'll beat it into submission. Not too bad. I'll fold these up and get them all welded. And I'll make the top plate. Another thing I did before I welded this up is took my dimple die tool and just them holes that I plasmed out with the plasma table. Just took the dimple die and put a little dimple on there. That'll help strengthen this box up. Plus makes it a little bit lighter. But now I'll go ahead and get this thing welded up. I do have one more bend I need to put in right here, but we'll get that done. Just going to grind down these welds and screw them out. Maybe go over this whole thing with the grinder a little bit and then we'll get some paint on it. Get this battery pulled out so we can get some more measurements off of it. Wow, just broke that. Good thing we decided to make another battery box because I don't think that was lasting much longer. This is an Odyssey battery. When I first built my Bronco, I put Sears batteries in them, but we don't have Sears no more. Then I went to an Optima battery, and that didn't last that long at all. And then I was doing research online, and I found these Odyssey batteries, and this battery has been in my Bronco for a long time, and it still does great. Hopefully they're still just as good as quality as when I bought this. I'll continue to keep using them. I really like these Odyssey batteries. That's where that all thread was rubbing. Doesn't look like it went in too far at all, but probably could have became a problem in the future. Fits pretty good. That was even done on accident, and man, there's a little bit of space there, but not much. It's about perfect. Sits down in there all the way. There's a little bit of gap. I was hoping this was going to be a little bit longer. I was going to bend it over to have a place to slide this in and bolt this down to, but I'll just get me a piece of angle iron or something and weld it onto this so it can come up and over, and I'll be able to put a bolt and nut right there. But Now I can get this marked for my slot at the right height and get this box put in. Here's a little tip for you. If you're ever drilling a hole in something small and you don't have a real good way to hold it, you're thinking maybe putting it in your vise, you don't want to drill through and have your drill bit hit the vise. Grab yourself a 2x4, clamp that in the vise. Now when you go through your piece of material, you're going to go into the wood and not into your vise. It's pretty good. Well, there it is. I decided to put a nut zert here, so if I'm taking the battery in and out, I won't have to worry about trying to hold the nut and the bolt at the same time. I can just put the bolt in. That welded on. Top plate. Put a little bend in that too. I don't think it was going to come out anyway, but got in there. Drop the bolt in. Screw her down. Nice and tight. I'm going to go throw some spray paint on it. And while it's drying, I'll get the old one cut out of the Bronco. I think it looks good. Always paint in a well-ventilated area. So when I started building this Bronco, the inner fenders where they went to the firewall was totally rusted out. So I had to cut them out, and I built a little tube kind of core support that goes back up into the firewall. And another thing I did is I made it real easy so I could take these panels off if I wanted to. And if I just want to take one panel off, I have one bolt kind of on the outside down there. Take the strut off. I've got two of these quick turn Zeus tabs. And then there's a couple more bolts in this to unbolt it from the grill. I can pull this whole fender off. And if I want to, I can keep this bolted to the grill, undo these quick turn tabs, and the bolt on each side of these struts. I can pull the whole front clip off. I got to disconnect my lights, obviously, but I can easily pull this whole front clip off. And it makes working on this a whole lot easier. I've already got the bolts out of the grill and the one down there on the fender. Trying to show you how easy it is. A couple quick turn tabs. This kind of tucks into the just like that. I can pull my fender off. Now I can get to all this stuff real easy. Not sure who welded this battery box on, but it's welded good. This whole, all the way up here is totally welded. And the back side here, totally welded. There's a couple underneath too. By, I don't know who did it. I meant it was me. Probably worried it was gonna fall out. I'll get them welds cut off, get this old box out. And while I'm in here, I think I'm gonna kind of clean these wires up a little bit. I hate wiring, and obviously it shows, but we'll get them cleaned up, make them look a little bit better. Out with the old, in with the new. Well, here it is. Got the battery box back in and installed. I cleaned up all the wires that were just dangling underneath here. Got them, ran through some wire loom and routed better, and got the fender back on. I think that battery box looks pretty good. And it won't be digging into the front of my battery like my old one did. I think I might throw some of these on the website, so if anybody's interested, go to the website and check them out. While I had the Bronco in the shop, I also took apart my coilovers and rebuilt them. In the back here, I don't have the front yet done yet, but in the back, I put some limiting straps on, made some tabs with the plasma table, and I still need to go to the hardware store and get me some grade 8 bolts, but they're double shear tabs. Put new bump stops in the coilovers. Still need to dial in the height a little bit. It's pretty close though. And I need to cut out some tabs for the front. Get my limiting straps on the front. I think I'm gonna come off this radius arm here and then come up to my shock tower right there. Put the limiting straps right there in the front, but we'll get that done, and next time you'll see this, we'll be in Moab. Thanks for watching.